Bismillahs. Thank you for watching. In our first discussion, we began with the 5 integers of daily prayer that are 2, 4, 4, 3, and 4. And independent of other opinions and perspectives, in pure mathematics, proved the astromathematical value of the 5 integers. The equation of the 5 cubes of the 5 integers of daily prayers on this page is an example. In this discussion, we reflect on another significant astromathematical number of the Quran, number 29. Number 29, independent of our opinions and perspectives, in a self-evident way, explains the cause of the puzzling position of the Bismillah in the first chapter of the Quran, the absence of Bismillah in chapter 9, and the 2 Bismillahs in chapter 27. The 3 chapters are highlighted with the red dots on the graph. You also notice that chapter 1 is right before the largest chapter of the Quran with 286 verses, and chapter 27 is right after the second largest chapter with 227 verses. So the first one is before the largest chapter, and chapter 27 is right after the second largest chapter. In addition, number 29 objectively explains the 29 secret codes of the Quran that are in the beginning of 29 chapters of the book. The statement of the proof here is from chapter 27. That is one of the 3 puzzling chapters. In this discussion, chapter 27 is also where, inshallah, we will begin to prove the significance of number 29 in these chapters. Chapter 27 has 2 Bismillahs. The picture on the left shows that there are exactly 29 verses between the first and the second Bismillahs of chapter 27. This is the first self-evident sign of the significance of number 29 in relation to Bismillah in these three chapters. This is also a sign of the deeper mathematical dimensions of the Quran. Chapter 9 has 100 plus 29 verses. This simple equation that divides the 129 verses into 129 is very significant because it is the equation of the composition of the chapter. The first 29 verses of the chapter clearly have a noticeable tone and message that is very different from the following 100 verses. This difference and the shift after verse 29 is clear and self-evident. The first 29 verses are about the wartime policies. And in verse 29, we see the last policy at the end of the first 29 chapters. So the 29 chapters all are about war policy, and verse 29 is the last verse of this group. According to Abdullah Yusuf Ali, in his introduction to chapter 9, the first 29 verses were very significant, and they were read by Imam Ali alayhi salam during the Hajj to give these policies the widest publicity. This is the second sign of the significance of number 29 in these three chapters, and a sign of the deeper mathematical dimensions of the Quran, which is also self-evident in the simple equation of the composition of the chapter. According to a large number of documents, including this one on this page from Wiki, verse 29 of chapter 9 of the Quran is notable as dealing with the imposition of a tax on non-Muslims who have fallen under the Muslim rule. This well-known verse, verse 29, is another sign of the significance of number 29 in these three chapters, but also a sign of the deeper mathematical dimensions of the Quran. The first 29 verses of chapter 9 were revealed on the military campaign of Tabuk. And after the last 100 verses that had been revealed at an earlier time. So you have the 100 verses and then these 29 come together at a later time. So you think these 29 in terms of composition of the book should go to the end, but that's not the way it happens. However, in composition of the chapter, the 29 verses that were revealed later are before the 100 verses that were revealed earlier, which is a remarkable shift in the composition of the chapter and something memorable. This is another sign of the significance of number 29 in these three chapters, and a sign of the deeper mathematical dimensions of the Quran. In addition, verse 29 of chapter 9 has exactly 29 words, which is equal to the number of words of chapter 1 and the number of verses between the two Bismillahs of chapter 27. This is another sign of the deeper mathematical dimensions of the Quran and the significance of number 29 in these three chapters. Excuse me. In mathematical fabric of the Quran, as we had an example in our first discussion, a clear example, the chapters and verses numbers and the number of verses, words, letters, and dots, they are all significant. Chapter 9 and chapter 27 were revealed in different places, in different pieces, in different times, under harsh and chaotic circumstances. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, could not read and write. But the two chapters are related in harmony and elegantly and mathematically complementary. The two beautiful equations on this page are the small parts of a much larger mathematical structure. Here are few more equations. Okay, you notice that the digit sum of 9 is 9 and the digit sum of 27 is 2 plus 7 is equal 9. It's the same thing. The same digit sum, when you apply it to the number of verses, is 1 plus 2 plus 9 is 12. 9 plus 3 is also 12. You also notice that 129 is 3 times the prime number 43, and number 93 is also 3 times the prime number 31. You notice that number 9 is a square of 2, and number 27 is the cube of 3. Oh, a square of 3. 9 is the square of 3, I'm sorry. And 27 is the cube of 3. You also notice that when it comes to number 29, when you subtract number 29 from 129, it gives you a square of 10. And when you subtract 29 from 93, it gives you a square of 8. You also notice that some of the chapter numbers is equal to 36, and the difference of the chapter verses is also equal to 36. You notice that 93 can be described as the sum of 6 consecutive numbers. Over here we have number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. You also notice that number 129 is also sum of 6 consecutive numbers that begins right after the 6 consecutive numbers of number 93. Here, the 6 consecutive numbers are 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Here, both 93 and 129 have exactly the same generating function, 3n times n minus 1 plus 3. When you plug in n is equal 6, you get 93. And when you plug in the next number, which is 7, you're going to get number 129. So this is just the tip of the iceberg of the mathematical structure here. Inshallah, we reflect on it in later discussions. Inshallah, we will continue this work in next discussion, which would be chapter 3. Thank you for watching, and God bless you and your family and circles around you.